Hello, John Morgan here with Bulbs Market and Greenhouses, and it looks like my camera is frozen, so let me try something. Oh, nope, it is still frozen. Oh no. Oh, oh no. Come on. Oh, maybe. There we go. Oh, it's choppy. Why were we choppy? Oh no. Um, okay. This, yeah, oh, that's really messed up. I literally checked everything right before I started, and like 50% of my head is gone. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's better. Now you can actually see me. Technical difficulties. All right. Um, yeah, after that bumpy start, this week I have kind of a little mixed bag of an episode for you. Um, Over the past weekend, I got out in the garden and did some work, so I just kind of brought the camera along for the ride. And the main thing that I did was tie up some tomatoes, but I also spotted an invasive plant while I was out in the garden, so I wanted to talk about it also. And then later on in this episode, we're going to take a look at what's happening here at Bob's, which this time of year, we're kind of in the slow season, so not a whole lot is happening. Um, but we'll check that out. And then also at the very end, I was down at the market today and the bees were just out enjoying the flowers. And I got some footage of that. So let's dive right into it. And up first, let's take a look at what's happening out in my garden.
This afternoon, I'm out here in the garden doing some work, and in my meadow garden section, something that I need to keep an eye out for is invasive species. And so far, I've been lucky. I do have some wild natives, like this pokeweed behind me that's come up, but again, it's a native plant, so for the most part, I'm just going to let it go and kind of trim it and contain it. Um, but I did notice over in this new section, that's right behind me right here, I do have an invasive plant that just popped up. So let's take a look at it and I'll show you what it is and what to look for. And of course, I hit stop when I meant to hit record. So I just talked for like 2 minutes about this plant and showed pulling it up and didn't get any of it recorded. So I had to go dig it back out of my compost pile. And, well, here is the plant. It is a mimosa tree. So I know you see mimosa trees around. This time of year, they've really got really beautiful pink blooms on them, but they are an invasive plant in our region. So, 7,500 years ago, they were sold as an ornamental tree that, is, hey, fast growing, you can't kill it. Anybody can grow it. And yeah, if you see those buzzwords in marketing, that usually means that the plant's invasive. So, mimosa is one of those. And I happen to just spot it right here where I have some sunflowers planted. And it was kind of hiding down underneath the sunflower uh, leaves. And I just happened to spot it as I was walking by. But yeah, this is what the leaves look like. It's kind of one stem with a bunch of little leaves on it. And one of the things that's kind of cool is if you mess with mimosa, like even if you touch a leaf, they'll start to fold up. And obviously where I've pulled this one, the leaves are starting to kind of fold up to protect themselves right now. So you can see it starting to do that. So and there's one that's a little bit further along. But yeah, I just yanked it up, and it has this taproot that kind of goes down, so you want to make sure that you get the taproot. I got it all the way down to the tip, so I'm fairly confident that it won't come back. But yeah, this is what to look out for. If you see these types of leaves that look like this, you definitely want to pull it up and get rid of it. So something that you might see that kind of looks like it is a locust. So we have some different types of locusts in the area. The leaf shape is very similar, but they don't have that reaction where they fold up like this when they're touched. So that's an easy way to test for it. Also, the easiest way nowadays is just to take your phone, open up the Google app, and use the camera search function. You can snap a picture of this, and it is like fairly accurate. That's the main tool that I use for identifying plants. So yeah, this, I'm going to break it up so that way I'm sure that it's dead, and stick it over in my compost bin. Of course, if you're composting something like this, you want to make sure that it doesn't have any seeds. And also, something like Johnson grass, that is another invasive in this area, it can reproduce and create new shoots from its roots. So with something invasive like Johnson grass, you definitely don't want to put it in your compost bin. But this, it's fine to stick in the compost. So, well, that is one invasive down. The other thing that I'm working on today is tying up my tomatoes out here in my raised beds. So I'm going to set up the camera and we can take a look at how I tie up my tomatoes. So here are the tomato plants in my raised bed, and what I did is I used a couple 2x4s that I just screwed into the end of the bed, and that way later on I can take those 2x4s out and store them or move them to a different area next year. And I just drilled some holes through it and then ran some paracord. And paracord is a great option for tying up tomatoes because it doesn't break down. So I use the paracord for the main supports, and then I just use some baling twine to hold everything up. So the twine, it will break down over time, but I can always go back in and make repairs. But I found that this combination works the best. And what I'm doing is I'll go in and tie up some individual stems, but today I need to kind of wrangle this whole area right here. So I'm going to kind of use, it's sort of a hybrid of the Florida weave system. So I'm going to come off the next string down from this one and just kind of go out and catch like 2 or 3 plants, cinch it in tight, then do the next 2 or 3, cinch it in, and so on down to the end. And then I'm going to go back along the top up here and start tying off individual stems. And by doing that, it kind of keeps everything tight up against the strings and just keeps it so it's kind of protected from blowing over in a storm. Alright, so there we go. And the last thing that I like to do after I finish tying up my tomatoes is kind of give them a once over and pull off some suckers. Now, I'm not the type person that goes through and like religiously removes every single sucker from the plant. And, there's debate whether removing the suckers really does anything or not. But I'll go through and find some, kind of like this one right here. And you just kind of give it a little pop and it comes right off. So I'll go through and do that. Again, I don't really do it religiously. I mean, I could spend all day out here trying to pick out suckers. But if I find a really obvious one, like this one right here that's also right next to some blooms, I'll go ahead and get rid of it, because it's just going to get in the way of those blooms. I saw a bumblebee go in there. Because I do have some, I don't know if you can see right there in my camera's shadow. But yeah, I'm starting to get some blooms. And down here lower, I know I've seen some right here. Yep, right here we have some little baby tomatoes. Those are looking good.
All right, so that's what's happening out in my garden. And yeah, we had another little hiccup there. Like, ooh, I need to work on this computer or something. um, of course, you can find Bob's Live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. here on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching. But give us a like and a share. And if you're over on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notifications when we go live. And we're also on Twitter, Instagram, and also TikTok. So this coming weekend, I'm going to be heading out to Columbus for Cultivate, which is our industry's, I think it's our largest trade show that we have as an industry. So you'll kind of get a behind the scenes look at what's happening in the horticulture industry. And I'm also going to some really cool events out there. So I'm going to bring you guys along for the ride. Um, I'm going to record kind of a vlog style video over the weekend, just so you can sort of follow me. But I'm also going to be posting on our social media. So check out Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We'll definitely be posting there using the hashtag Cultivate22. And we're also going to be posting TikTok videos. So if you haven't followed us on TikTok yet, you can find us there at Bob's Market. I need to update my little whatever it is right here because it's missing TikTok. But yeah, we're on there too. Up next, I've got something that's a little bit unique, and I was talking about doing a vlog where you can sort of follow me. Today, I wanted to kind of give you a little look behind the scenes of my day-to-day job outside of doing all of this. Um, so yeah, it's kind of an interesting time of year for us here at Bob's because we're kind of moving at the garden centers. It's still summertime, still flowers and everything in the stores. But here at the greenhouse, we're moving into fall and winter already. So today I was actually getting ready for Christmas. So let's check that out. Hello, and Merry Christmas. You might be saying, Christmas? It's the middle of July. Well, this week I happen to have the paperwork for our 2022 poinsettias. And we've actually got some poinsettias that we've stuck already, but this is all of them for the rest of the season. And the first thing that we have to do is print up labels so we know what we have in the greenhouse after we stick the cuttings. And that's part of my job. So let's print some labels today. All right, now we're ready to print. Okay, I'm at the end of the roll, so now I've got to try to splice on a new roll. And this is where it gets fun. If I'm lucky, I can attach this roll onto the end of this one with some tape, and it won't trip the sensor and cause it to think that there's a paper jam. If not, I will run into some issues. Aha! Made it. Alright, I've got our labels. Now it's off to the field house to deliver them. Alright, now I'm back to the office and
ready for my next job, which is actually editing this video. So, yeah, let's do that.
So that is what I do when I'm not shooting video is print labels like that, and then also all the IT troubleshooting stuff. So yeah, that was a look behind the boring scenes of my day to day job. Um, let's go to something a little bit more exciting, and that is the weather forecast for this week. So the weather, it is looking a lot better than last week. Last week it was really rainy, and I know that I mowed my yard earlier in the prior week, so I almost had to bail my yard. It was like 5 inches deep in some locations. Um, so over the weekend, in fact, after I finished tying up those tomatoes, I jumped on the riding mower, mowed the yard, and then also weed eated. And I was outside till like 9:30 Sunday night finishing up the yard. Um, but now it looks like we're going to have some pretty good weather. Um, today, a little bit stormy going into tonight. Um, looking outside right now, yeah, looks a little stormy out there. Some dark clouds out there. But Wednesday and Thursday, and also going into Friday, it looks pretty good. We're going to be kind of mid to upper 80s, um, and then down in the 60s at nighttime. But overall, typical summer forecast. It does look like on Sunday, though, we're going to have a next round of thunderstorms moving through. Which for me, I'm going to be out at Cultivate, and luckily that is inside. And I don't think I'd have to look back at my schedule, but I don't think I have anything planned that's outside on those days. Um, on Saturday evening, we're going to be going to the Ohio State University Trial Gardens. So that's something that I want to share with you guys. It's a really neat experience, and it's something that you could stop by and visit if you're in the Columbus area. And then I'm also working on another thing, kind of trying to iron out the details of that. But if it doesn't happen, you'll never know because I'm not going to say what it is. um, but yeah, um, you can look for that, and then also I'm just going to go around the trade show floor and kind of look for cool stuff. So, a lot of the companies that supply us here at Bob's and a lot of the products that we carry in our stores, they'll actually have booths out at the trade show. So, we can kind of catch up with them and see what cool new things they might be having. And, I can post it on Facebook or on Twitter and get your opinion. And then it might end up in the store. So you never know. But it's always exciting to go out there and see what's new and also kind of get a sneak peek at what trends are on the horizon. So that's where I always learn about new gardening trends, and a lot of those ideas make their way onto Bob's Live here. So that's where I'm going to be over the weekend. It ends on Tuesday, so next week I'm probably going to record something at the trade show and then piece it together and create kind of a non-live version of Bob's Live. So it'll be something pre-recorded next week. And then the week after, we'll be right back into our live shows. So that is all that I have for this week, except for some bees. So I was down at the market this morning, and the bees were just going crazy with the flowers down there. And I just had to shoot some video. So I'm going to end this week's episode with that video. So until next time, keep growing.